For more on Congress's role in President Trump's agenda, let's welcome in columnist for the Daily Signal, Jarrett Stepman. Jarrett, why do you think the president is having issues getting Congress to back his economic policies?
Well, of course, you have Democrats on one side that will oppose his policies no matter what happens. So I think you already have that issue. And you do have some disagreements among some Republicans on the tariff issue in particular. It has been controversial in some circles. You have some publications like the Wall Street Journal been very critical. Some Republicans favor that side. I will say that in this case, Congress has given the presidency pretty broad ability to act on this. This is part of our negotiation with other countries, and it's beyond just the economic agenda. This is about foreign policy agenda as well, how we're treating other countries. It has a lot to do with how we're dealing with China. I think there's a very broad mandate to have a strategic decoupling from that country, and that requires using trade policy to do so. So I think Trump has the right ideas here. I think that the tariffs, which Trump has negotiated with these countries, many have come down from other countries. So that's excellent, getting reciprocal tariffs to come down from other countries. So I think Trump has done a good job with that. I do think the courts need to essentially let the executive branch do what it needs to do. I mean, the court should not be involved in these kind of policies. If Congress really does want to take back the power of trade, it has the ability to do so. But I don't think overall that body wants to do so at this minute. I think there are many people who simply want to stop Trump's agenda.
Well, I'm glad you brought up who's in charge here, because historically the legislative branch has been charged with levying tariffs, but Congress has gradually given that power to the executive branch. So now, after this trade court ruling, is Trump dependent on Congress to step back in on tariffs?
Congress very well may. I mean, I could see them doing so, especially after this. And look, I'm for the legislature, basically doing its job and legislating for the country once again. It feels like it's been a long time since Congress has done and carried out its duties. It's deferred far too much to the courts, especially to the bureaucracy. I think that's been the main problem with how Congress has stopped functioning. So maybe we'll see this. I think what you see from Trump right now is he's taken the power that he's given. He's a very aggressive and assertive chief executive, very different from the previous president who simply deferred in all cases. And he's taken that power and he's used it. He's been very consistent on the tariff issue from the beginning. So if Congress wants to get a majority and it wants to start pushing the president on tariffs, it can do so, but it's got to have a plan to do so. I mean, they have to show the American people that they have some idea of what they're doing with what they want American trade policy to be. Trump has shown that vision. I think Congress has done less so.
Well, you see him there with the House Speaker. Tomorrow, Senate Republicans meet to discuss their plans for the big, beautiful bill. So how long do you think it'll take to work out all their unresolved demands?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a huge issue that needs to be resolved at some point. There's now some criticism from even some Republicans. You've had Elon Musk, who's gone off the bill, saying essentially it's too much, it's spending too much. I will say that this needs to be a priority. There's a lot of good stuff in this bill. I think there's some additional things that are coming out, especially rescissions. $9 billion is something that Russ Vought at OMB talked about. Defunding things like NPR that have been talked about for a very long time haven't been done. Those are additional bills on top of this. So I do think that some of those concerns about spending, which are very serious. I mean, this country's racked up an enormous amount of debt, nearly $37 trillion. We're spending $3 billion a day on debt. That's absurd. And this is the kind of thing that ruins nations. So I think those concerns are extremely valid. At the same time, this bill does need to pass. I mean, there are tax cuts that will end at the end of this year. That could represent the largest tax increase in American history if those go through. There's a lot of good stuff as far as border security that's in this bill. It'll fund it essentially the border wall through the rest of Trump's term. So these are things that are a priority. I think President Trump will put a lot of pressure to get this passed, certainly in the month of July. I know there's been some promises about July 4th. We'll see if that happens. I'm hoping that some of the pressure on the spending will get the Senate to bring some more of that spending down to sort of cool some of the people who are very upset about the levels of spending in this country, because I do think they have valid concerns. Right. But I think it'll eventually get through.
Okay, well, I do too. But real quick, yes or no, will it pass by that July 4th deadline?
Thinking about Congress to hit its deadlines is something that's very dangerous. So I'm going to say I think it will. I hate to say this because I know that they disappointed me so many times, but that has been a deadline.
I'm going to hold you to it, Jarrett.
Perfect.
I'm going to hold you to it. Jarrett Stepman,
no.
Thank you for joining us.